Hi everybody, it's Gemma. Welcome back to Pampered Wolf. Today I'm going to be reviewing, testing out and also doing swatches of the brand new Huda Beauty new Nude palette. This is the most beautiful palette I think I have ever seen. So if you are interested in my thoughts and feelings on this palette and how to create this particular look, then please keep watching. So this is the brand new Huda Beauty Nude palette. It's £56 in the UK, $65 in the US. You have to say it really fast because it actually hurts me that I actually paid that much for an actual palette. Very expensive. I think this is the most expensive palette that I have ever bought myself. So I really hope it's going to be worth it because I couldn't afford it when I bought it. So let me just show you in this palette. How gorgeous is that? Absolutely stunning. Now Huda Beauty have actually put a concealer base in here, so you have absolutely everything that is required to create the most fantastic look. They've also got some really innovative shadows in here as well as the mattes that you get. You also get some pressed glitters and something that I've never ever seen before. Look at this crushed pearly glittery shade here. I'm really hoping this isn't going to be as chunky as it is in the pan, but we will see. So you get 18 pans in here. There are 10 mattes which include an aloe vera and coconut oil to give a buttery textured blend. You get 4 reflective shades, which are these pearly ones here. These include shimmery pearly flecks to give a duo chromatic finish. You get 2 glitters, which are pressed glitters here. These are infused with innovative silicone for advanced adherence, but again, I don't think I'd ever put a pressed glitter on without using glitter glue, because I mean, you're finding glitter for weeks if you do it that way. There's also 1 pressed pearl, which is up here. This has got jojoba and sunflower wax in there for a high shimmer finish. And again, you've got the concealer base, which is down here. I absolutely love the look of this palette. It really did jump out at me as soon as I saw the picture of it on Instagram. I knew I wanted it. I knew I had to have it, but I also knew it was very expensive. So we're going to do some swatches of these and then we're going to get some of these on the eyes. Okay, so let me show you the first row of shadows. We've got Bear, we've got Crave, Play, Fantasy, Love Bite and Spanked. That is the top row. Let me show you the second row. We have Lace, we have Daydream, Tickle, then we've got the glitter shades Excite and Infatuated, and then we've got Kinky right at the very end there. Beautiful shades. I have swatched the glitter shades using the concealer that is provided in the pans. So as well as the concealer base in one of the pans, from left to right we have Secret, Tease, Raw, Charmed and Teddy, and these are the deepest shades in the pan. Now I tend not to really concentrate on how these swatch on an arm, especially on an arm where I didn't shave the hairs on it to begin with, which was a little bit of a schoolgirl error. But anyway, I don't tend to concentrate on how they swatch because they often apply to the lid in a completely different way. So let's see how these apply. Let's get some of these on. So I've already got my P.LOUISE Eyeshadow Base on and I've set that with a little bit of RCMA No Colour Powder. So we're going to dive straight into this palette, and the first colour I'm going to go for is going to be this shade here, which is called Play. So as per usual, I've got no makeup on my face because I've got no idea whether this is going to have a lot of fallout, whether it's going to leave flecks all over my cheeks, which if you've done a full makeup before you actually apply your eyeshadow, it's really annoying. So no makeup on. I'm going to do the eye look first. I'm going to knock off every single last bit of excess off my brush because I've no idea how heavily pigmented these are. I haven't actually finger swatched these yet, even though you'll have just seen me finger swatch them. I actually filmed that after I filmed this, which is a bit back to front, but anyway, I'm going to just go straight in, let the brush do the work, hardly any pressure whatsoever on the lid itself. That's a really pretty colour. I'm really hoping with these shadows that they are going to be quite muted and nude, because that's what a nude palette should be. So fingers crossed, this is going to be the palette to beat all palettes. I'm already loving how these colours blend. I know I've only used one shade so far, so this might be a little bit premature, but these mattes, this matte in particular, is blending out so nicely. And yes, it is heavily pigmented, but it's not hard to blend out. So I've often found it really, really difficult to find shades that actually suit my pale skin. A lot of the time they're far too dark and they completely wash me out. Or they're quite dark, they look really nice, but I look like I'm going out for the evening rather than just a simple natural day look, which is what I normally go for anyway, even when I'm going out at night. So I've found it very, very difficult to find shades that are pale enough and not too uber pigmented, and I'm having absolutely no problems with this palette so far. Again, only used the one shade, so this may be a little bit premature, but I'm really liking what I see at the moment. So let's go in with a different colour. This was really, really easy to build up, by the way, so if you don't have my skin shade, if your skin shade is a lot darker than mine, which most are, then you will probably be able to easily get away with this because it's so easy to build the colour up and make it pop a lot more. So next I'm going to go into the shade Secret, which is this one right down here next to the concealer. And I'm just going to concentrate just on that outer V at the moment and just build that colour up a little bit. I actually watched the Huda Beauty how-to on this palette. She does have quite a few brushes to add to this collection. I haven't bought the brushes, I've just bought the palette. For a start, I didn't really know about the brushes when I bought the palette. I was sat at the side of the pool at the spa and it was an impulse buy. Really couldn't afford it, but it just looks so pretty. So I didn't actually know about the brushes at the time, but I'm really quite pleased I didn't buy the brushes. If you need special brushes to make this palette work, then this is not a very good palette. So I'm going to use my normal brushes that I use. I'm going to use my fingers quite a lot during this look because that's my favourite way of applying pearly shades to my eyelids. So we're going to see how this works out today anyway. So like I said before, I did watch the Huda Beauty YouTube tutorial on how to apply these shadows to get the best out of them before I've done this video. I actually watched it while I was at the spa and she did say that these colours, even though they look quite browny, are actually quite pinky. And if that's actually true, I will be quite disappointed because I like a muted palette. I do like pinks, but I don't like just pinks. I also like browns and taupes and greys, and this palette really jumped out at me as soon as I saw it. It's just so beautiful. So if these browns actually turn out to be quite pinky, I'll be a little bit disappointed. So I do actually like the shade Secret, but let me just show you a quick look. This one does look quite browny in the pan, but it is going on a little bit pinky, which I'm quite disappointed at. So I'm gonna go in with Teddy, which is down here. This is really brown, this shade in the pan. If this goes on pink, I'm gonna kiss this tutorial goodbye because I might be crying. I don't want a palette that is just pink. I don't. Oh, I actually quite like that shade. I think if it was next to loads of browns in the pan, this would actually look quite pink in the pan, whereas because it's next to some really quite vivid pinks, it looks more browny. So maybe these just are very pink shadows. This is my disappointed face. The one thing I can definitely say is there isn't a lot of kickback in the pan itself, so there's not loads of dust everywhere that's going into all the other shadows. It's actually quite neat. You definitely don't need to swirl your brush in these palettes. A quick tap and there is a lot of pigment on the end of your brush. So you just have to be careful not to pick up too much, otherwise you'll just be wasting the product. I'm going to take a little bit of a fluffier brush just to buff out those edges. These buff out absolutely effortlessly. They really are easy to blend. So lastly, just to darken up the outer V a little bit more, I'm going to go into this shade here, which is called Raw. I am on purpose using the shades that look the least pink to see what sort of look we can get. So hope that's all right with everybody. I will do a little bit more of a pinky look in another video, but it's the kids' last day off school. It's an inset day today, so I want to spend a little bit of time with them. So I think we're going to go to the pictures today. They want to see little foot or small foot. Small foot. Animation's really not my thing. So I'm just going to go in with quite a small brush in Raw. This is definitely a deep pinky shade, but it's on the browner side. And I'm just going to go into that outer V, just to darken that edge up a little bit before we go in with a little bit of the concealer, because I'm dying to see what that's like. Just buff that out. So I'm just going to put a little bit of the concealed over my eyelid where I haven't got any of the shadow, just so that we can apply a base that one of the Pearl Eyes shadows is going to really stick to and make it really vivid in colour. So I'm just going to apply just a little bit of that. I don't want to go too over the top. But we're just going to lighten that up a little bit in preparation for one of the pressed pearls, which I'm so excited to see what they're like. They do look a little bit chunky in the pan, I'm not going to lie, but we'll see if they go on nicely. Okay, so now I've applied a little bit of the concealer. Which one of these bad boys are we going to go for? They are just so, so pretty. As I'm going to try and stay away from the pinks during this tutorial, even though my eyeshadow looks quite pink now, I'm going to go into this shade here, which is called Craze. It looks so nice. I'm going to go in with my finger because I just think that's the best way of applying any Pearl Eyes shadow. Oh my goodness. Okay, so it's quite chunky on the finger. Let's see what it's like on... Ooh! Now come on. This is gorgeous. Oh my goodness. Okay, I don't care if these shadows are pink. These are just so nice. Just gonna press on. I'm not dragging at all. I'm just pressing and letting the finger do the work. that is supremely glittery. If you like glitters, this is a serious shimmer. And really easy to apply as well. I'm just going to buff around that so that this all blends in nicely. This does have tiny flecks of pearlized pink in this shade, which you actually couldn't see in the pan, but as soon as it's on your finger and you sort of move your finger around a little bit, you can actually see it shimmering in the light. It's very pretty, but again, very pink. So pretty. So pretty. So I'm going to go away and do the rest of my makeup before we do underneath the eye. I will be right back. Okay, so let's get on with the bottom lash line. I absolutely love the top lid. It's really grown on me. I just think it looks absolutely super and just sparkly and wow. Anyway, bottom lid time. I'm going to go into the shade Secret, which is this one here. I'm just going to use a little pencil brush. I'm just going to go into the outer corner and just really, really lightly fluff that across the bottom lash line. And then I'm going to get a little fluffy brush, but still a small brush. And I'm just going to smoke that out a little bit. So I'll just add a tiny weeny bit of the shade Raw, which is this shade right here. And I'm just going to put that right in the outer corner. And then again with the same little fluffy brush, just smoke that out. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. Then just as a slight touch of added glam, you can leave this little bit out if you don't like the inner sparkle look. I'm just going to go back into the shade Crave, which is this shade back here. Let's see how this applies with a brush, because I've only tried it with my fingers so far. It's very bitty on the end of the brush, a little bit like loose glitter, so I've got a feeling this is going to fly absolutely everywhere, but we shall see. Do you know what? No, it hasn't. It hasn't flown everywhere. I haven't got fallout all over my cheek. It's gone on really, really well. No problems whatsoever. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you can apply these pearlescent shades with a brush. Just going to do the other side. You don't get as much colour payoff when you're applying these with a brush, because it doesn't stick to the brush as well as it sticks to a really warm finger. It's like it melts to the finger and then it melts to your lid. And you don't get that if you're applying it with a brush, but still super stunning. Really nice eyeshadow. Okay, so this is the finished look. What do you think about it? Let me know in the comment section below. Do you think this is actually worth the hefty price tag? Well, as far as I'm concerned, I've seen a few reviews on YouTube about this particular palette. I was a little bit late getting it, so I watched a few reviews, cheated just slightly. And I tend not to do that because I don't like to be swayed. However, a lot of the reviews on YouTube did say that this is not a beginner-friendly palette. I would completely disagree. Completely. So if you don't think that you are really good at applying eyeshadows, if you really struggle to blend them out, then this might be a really good palette for you to start with. I know it's really expensive, but these shades in here are so easy to blend out. They are like butter. It blends effortlessly. You don't have to put much effort in, and it's just so smooth and buttery and absolutely beautiful. The matte shades in this palette are the best matte shades that I have ever had on my lid and the easiest to blend. These pearlescent shades, which I have never seen anything like this on the market before, are so, so beautiful, so glittery. I didn't get any fallout from this. Really easy to apply, really buttery and creamy and just lush. I really like the fact that this has a concealer in there. If you really want your eyeshadow to pop, press the concealer on before you put the eyeshadow on, and it really will make the colour a little bit more vivid, and it will also help for the glitters to stick to your eyelid. Although, like I said before, I don't really recommend sticking these directly to the concealer. I would use a glitter glue if you're ever going to be using a pressed glitter. That's what I'd go for, because I just think you get more colour payoff doing it that way. But I've not used the glitters today, so these might be amazing. I absolutely love this palette. I think it's really innovative. The only thing I'm really disappointed at is even the brown shades down here have really pinky or purpley hues to them. And I think that is quite disappointing. I was hoping that I would be able to create a brown look, a taupe look, a grey look, a pink look, a purple look if I wanted to. I wasn't expecting all the looks that I create to be quite pinky. And I've done this look on purpose today. I have picked all the shades that didn't look pink. And the eyeshadow look today still looks quite pink. Even this shade here, which looks really gold, has pink flecks in there. So I do think that's slightly disappointing, but I will use this palette again. And as far as the price tag goes, because of the quality of the shadows that are in here, yes, I do think this palette is worth the price that I paid, and I really couldn't afford to buy it. It was a bit of an impulse buy. Very naughty of me, but I'm really pleased that I did. I just wish it was a little bit more versatile. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you have, please do give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget I'm also on Instagram as well. Those of you who already follow me on Instagram will have known that this little review was coming up today because I posted a picture of it when it was delivered by the mailman on Saturday morning. So you will have already had a little bit of an insight into what was coming up today. So if you want a little bit of a sneaky peek on what's coming up, or you also want an insight into my personal life, then do follow me on Instagram as well as YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to me already, there is a watermark in this corner. If you click on it, it will take you through to my homepage where you can subscribe. Hope to see you all again soon. Bye!